Okay, today I'm going to introduce you to an old friend of mine, known him for 40 odd years, Peter McAleese. Peter McAleese is on here today. Would you like to say hello to the viewers, Peter?
Morning all, and have a good day.
So we've been friends a long time, and I was asked to do an interview with Peter. Delighted. Normally I'm sat where Peter is and somebody else is sat where I am, but we're going to crack on with today, and we're going to get you to know who Peter McAleese is. If you don't know him already, you are going to know him certainly by the end of this and into any of the other interviews that we do. So before we go any further on that, Peter joined our Facebook page, which is the SAS Special Air Service Military Collectors and Facts page. You're welcome to join that. All you have to do is go to that particular site. We will look at you and add you if we think you're like-minded, the same as we are. It's a great page, professionally run by Shane, myself. Peter's one of the admins, and we have some other admins and moderators who are doing a great job. Before I crack on direct with Peter, I'd like to say that from the 7th to the 10th of March, which is this Sunday, for 4 days, there is an airing, and it's called The Killing of Escobar. Okay, part of the story out of Peter McAleese's book. And as he said, it's only a small part of the book. You need to buy the book when I come onto it, once it's re-released. So with that, it starts Sunday, £9.99, very worthily spent. So get on there, have a look. And then next week, you can come out with the comments and we'll follow the comments up by way of other interviews and stuff like that. Peter's book, okay, No Mean Soldier. There it is. Okay, a little bit of light on it. Can't do much about that. So, No Mean Soldier. Okay, being re-released as we speak in the next few weeks, and it'll be there on the shelves. It's a must buy. It's not been there for some time at the moment. So Peter, No Mean Soldier, to some people, they would think, what's that all about, that you know, title? So Peter, tell them how the title came about and how it means something to you.
The title came from a book called No Mean City, which was about Glasgow in the 30s. It was written by a chap called Kingsley Long and another guy called Alex MacArthur. One was a journalist and the other guy was out of work, so they put this book together about what type of place Glasgow was at that time. And through researching through it, St. Paul actually said as well, in Acts 21, I think it was 39, he said, my name is Paul. He was being interrogated by the Romans. He said, my name is Paul. I'm a citizen of Tarsus, no mean city. Now, when Kingsley Long wrote this book, No Mean City, Glasgow got labelled with that name. So when we were searching for a name for the book, I went, No Mean Soldier, just meaning a soldier from Glasgow. And I think it clicked fairly well. I had a few people who does he think he is? But they hadn't bothered to look into where the name came from.
No, it's
yeah,
it's a great title, Peter, and it's taken me 30, 40 years to find that out myself. I didn't know that all that time I've known you. I didn't know that that's how this title came out. It's just remarkable, mate. So a little bit more about Peter then. So Let's have a little bit, Peter. Let them know your background, sort of when you were growing up in and around Glasgow, the Gorbals area, which is well renowned.
Yeah.
And ending up in the Paras at such a young age. Can you let the listeners and viewers know exactly how that came about and why?
Yeah. I was obsessed with the parachute regiment, and I was in Glasgow one day, and I was walking through the streets, and I saw this para, and he had immaculately built boots, and he carried himself really well. And I kept following him because I was mesmerised by the deportment of this man, and the way he carried himself, and he eventually turned around and he says, "What the fuck are you doing following me?" It's just the man really looked the part. I watched a couple of movies on the parachute regiment, and I was obsessed by parachuting. So when I was 17 and a half, I'd gone to live in Aberdeen, and I joined the parachute regiment in the recruiting office in the Market Street in Aberdeen. And they says, "Where do you want to go?" And the local regiment is the Gordon Highlanders. I says, "No, I want to go to the parachute regiment." And I joined on the Monday, and by Friday, I arrived at Maida Barracks.
Well, that's amazing, Peter. You know, I joined at 15,
Yeah.
not the Paras, by the way, boys service, but actually it's a big step. I didn't want to go. You had a bit of a rough time, you said, as your childhood and stuff. And one way out of it, I suppose, was the military. It didn't do me any harm in the end, and it certainly didn't do you any harm. So at 17 and a half, you joined the Paras.
Yeah.
Which is what? Was that the legal age limit at that time?
Yes, when I arrived in Aldershot, I was ready to, I was old enough. I arrived in Aldershot the day I was 17 and a half. I'd travelled down beforehand. And by the time I went to Maida Barracks, which was the depot at the time, I was 17 and a half.
Yeah, amazing, mate. Great start to your career. And then, of course, you spent a couple of years at the Paras. And then as a young 19, 20-year-old, you went and passed SAS Selection.
Yes, I did.
That has to be one of the youngest that I know of.
Oh, no, there was a couple of guys were younger than me. I think Lofty Wiseman may have been one.
Yeah, no, Lofty, he was definitely, I think he was 19 at the time, something like that. Yeah. But I always remember that nowadays you wouldn't get in. Well, when I was serving, you had to go to a unit first, like you went to the Paras and so on and so on. But generally speaking, it's quite a young age to pass selection, you know, when you got the old vets on there and stuff.
Yeah.
But again, Peter, you know, hats off to what you did, mate. And of course, when you were there was a couple of mishaps, wasn't there, that you mentioned to me? Do you want to let anybody know about what happened and how long you were at the SAS?
Well, the first time I went there, I passed selection and I went to the squadron, and we went to America, and I got myself into a punch up with an American Special Forces guy. And to be honest, it wasn't actually started by me, but it was me that finished. And I got into trouble for it, and I was sent back to the Paras, and I went back to the old maroon machine for another couple of years, and that was it. But I still wanted to go back to the SAS, and after 2 years, I went back and rejoined again.
But they saw something in you, surely, Peter, because they made you an instructor, didn't they, down at the likes of Brecon?
No, that was after I left it. I went back to the Paras again, and I was then posted to Brecon. I'd done the tactics course there, and when I finished the tactics course, they asked me to stay behind as an instructor.
So after you twice, basically. The second time is when you went down as the instructor.
Yeah.
Even so, you know, good instructors are hard to find, especially when you go down there, down to Brecon, obviously.
I really enjoyed Brecon. And it was, to me, it was the perfection of everything that I knew. I went there with an open mind. I said, I'm going to go there. whatever they say, I will take it in. And that's it. And I did. And it worked for me.
Well, once again, you know, you've got to read this stuff in the book, guys, you know, really, to get the grip of it. On here, we're on here for 20 minutes, 25 minutes or so. But then you had a break, didn't you? You went off to the pipelines and oil rigs.
And... you know, I heard people were earning big money on oil rigs and pipelines. And I went up and I worked in the North Sea for about, 18 months, 2 years. I was on a rig called the Sedco K.
Yeah.
It was and I you know, worked 2 weeks on and 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off. And it was enjoyable, you know. I had tons of time off to do what I wanted to do. And I enjoyed it.
So then, okay, this will be the, so once you'd gone and finished that, you then went to the Rhodesian SAS, where you spent about 4.5 years.
Yeah, I was going to join the Foreign Legion, and I was on my way down to London. I met one of my mates there, and he said to me, you know, what are you doing? I said, I'm on my way to join the Legion. He says, Peter, why don't you go to Rhodesia? I said, well, I don't have the money. So my mate loaned me the money, and I went to Rhodesia, and I got out there, and I hung about there for about a week. Got to know some people. I'd met people who I knew from the Brit SAS there, and they helped me to get into the Rhodesian Army, where I got into the Rhodesian SAS, where I had to spend 5 months basic training, because that was the rule in there at the time.
Well, I bet you enjoyed it. It was 4.5 years there, and you stayed there till it became what, Zimbabwe, yeah?
Yeah, I really loved it, you know. And the Rhodesians were fairly gutsy people, you know. They were always up for the fight.
Yeah.
But then again, they were fighting for the country.
Yeah.
So you had that extra bit of push there from them, you know. And generally speaking, they were sort of they threw their heart into what they were doing, you know.
Yeah, I got that, mate. Well, we're coming to the end of this one, but tomorrow, when we do the next video, we're going to talk about an amazing operation that Peter was involved in. We haven't got enough time to do it today, and Peter will tell you exactly. We're going to come on to an operation called Operation Dingo, and you won't believe that. You need to come back and watch the second video we're going to do, hopefully tomorrow, and if not, Thursday. That will be an amazing story in itself, and that's where we'll be starting from. We've got as far as Peter being in the Rhodesian SAS. What did he do next? Well, that's a different story. So with that, Peter, we're going to wrap this one up now. Great to have you, and I hope the viewers come back for more. So your thoughts on that, Peter?
Lovely, thank you.